create a character for that voice to have. Whether it's I'm trying to not get the Facebook Live dinged. One of my clients called that voice that B word. Some people like, dude, that's my Satan, or like, that's just the stinker, right? Or whatever it is. But whenever you hear some internal dialogue cutting you down, like, oh, nah, that's just the stinker doing his business. I don't need to listen to the stinker.
All right, we are live. It's Friday. Here we go. It's an interesting energy in the room right now.
Yeah.
It's like we've been having a really great time together, and like we've settled into this like comfortable space, which is something that has been on my mind a lot lately. A friend wrote a blog post on Substack about the art of conversation, the lost art of conversation. And there's really an interesting, when you really have a good relationship with people, like there's this real comfort with silence, with allowing time for the conversation to percolate. And so the energy, I'm absolutely loving that, like we're all there, we're all leaned into this, but it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like we're like, this could go anywhere right now. It's like just at that tipping point where whichever way it decides to roll down the hill is the way that it's going to roll down the hill. And Rob is going to be pushing us off of that hill. So I'm super excited to get to that here shortly.
As long as not pushing you over the hill.
I'm getting close to that, aren't I? Oh, man.
Speak for yourself.
Yes, yes. We'll do what we normally do. We'll go around the room and make introductions and get this conversation started. So, Rob, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Because you're next to me.
All right. So Rob Reuter at Hicks Designs. And what I believe passionately is that business owners should own their platform, not rent from the big vendors. And so I work every week to empower people with the tools and resources they need to own their technology and own their media, so they show their best foot. And that's something you work on, right?
Thank you, sir. I'm Dave Ribble from Standout Mastery. Referral partners is the lifeblood of anything that's going to last very long. And what we do is we get into it with you and get to the heart of it and give you as many tools as we possibly can to improve how you make that happen. Dave Ribble, Standout Mastery. Sir?
And I'm Brett McMahon, financial professional of New York Life. I have a practice at the office downtown here at the Bank of America building, helping families and businesses with their financial decisions.
Hey everyone, I'm Steve Hicks with Thriving Body Holistic Fitness, and I am on a quest to create the ultimate s'mores dessert. So if you're looking for a fitness program or a weight loss program that allows you to still enjoy life's little delicious treats, I've got good news. I'm looking for s'more clients. I'm hanging out in the comments. You can shoot me a message.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Somebody did his homework.
I've made some really good treats the last couple of weeks.
Nice.
I noticed you didn't bring any for us today, then.
Yeah,
I'm running
amen.
low on marshmallow cream.
That was fantastic. I gave Kruger Ribble. I am Dave Ribble's wife and business partner. I have been the CEO of our company, Standout Marketing Strategies, for a really long time. And one of the things that I love the most, though, is supporting Dave and Standout Mastery, because we're changing lives. I also wanted to mention, I have an event that's coming up I'm really excited about. It's a complimentary sound bath. And if you have never experienced this before, it is so relaxing, and I literally will take you on a trip. It's going to be meditative crystal bowls, and that's Murphy Sullivan's doing that. Hand pan music by Kim West, and I'm going to be doing the guided meditation. It's May 16th, 11 a.m. to 12:30 at the Morgan Prairie Library, and that's kind of South Hill. The information is actually on our slides. If you would like to register or get more information, you can call Kim at 509-464-9727. And that's going to be next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday.
Awesome. And we'll try to get that in the description on the YouTube video.
Great.
And then if you want to comment that phone number in case people didn't, you already did?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I wanted to just touch on the sound bath. I've done one before and it is really incredible. It's super relaxing, and what I loved about it probably the most was being able to really be in touch with my own body and experience the vibrations in my body. And I did one at later at night, but I still felt the vibrations in my body the next day. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was really incredible. So for any of you who are wondering or curious about it, I highly recommend you go. Thank you.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah. My name is Melissa Biron. I'm with Thrive Wellness. I am a metabolic stability coach, and I help people with getting out of metabolic dysfunction into metabolic stability. And I love to have conversations with people and what that really means and looks like for that individual.
I'm Todd with Lump, LOMP.ai. We are an AI-driven platform tool for buyers to be seen by sellers. Again, LOMP.ai.
Yeah, hey, y'all, nice to see you today, or I guess you're seeing me, I'm not really seeing you, but my name's Lauren Baker. I work with a company called Profectus Business Consulting, and I'll tell you a story this week. Talked with a guy, he's in business about 30 years, super successful, it's got multiple employees, just rocks it, knows his craft, he's an artist. If you know those blue collar folks that work with the land, they're actually artists deep down inside. But here's the deal, about 2 years ago, successful company, he gets sick, has a cardiac event, all of a sudden he can't do the work. What he found out is the entire company was dependent on him. What we help folks do is not have the business be dependent on you as an owner, so that you're not just running a job, but building a business. Nice to meet you.
Love it. It's awesome.
I'm Leonidas Biron, son of Jonathan and Melissa Biron. I'm currently working on starting my own business that builds PCs for people for whatever your need may be, instead of carrying a laptop everywhere.
Nice. Excellent. I am Jonathan Biron, and I have so many ways that I want to segue here. I love the third party endorsement that Dave Ribble preaches, literally. I mean, this is like your lane. And I love just the synergy in the room, like Melissa endorsing Gay's event. And so when it comes to real estate, and this is the story that like hit me this week, somebody reached out to me, and I honestly don't even remember who, all the details of the story. I just like, they were like, so-and-so said, I have to talk to you. And like that feeling is so, it's like, there's already a level of trust. I can just go to work doing what I do, which is real estate. And I love helping people find a home, move from one home to the next, do all of the things. Real estate is big, real estate is hard. And I love being that person that gets to guide them through it. And one of the things that I'm willing to do when I meet somebody new is build that rapport. But man, nothing is better than that rapport being pre-built by somebody that says, this is an amazing person. They're gonna take really good care of you. So for those of you that are out there spreading the good word about the people here in this room and the other people, keep it up. It really, really makes a difference in the lives of both parties, really, because it's like, okay, here's somebody I can trust. So on that note, trust and feel goods and emotions. We are in Mental Health Awareness Month. And Rob, we have something today about mental health. So I'm gonna kick it over to you and let you get us started on this conversation.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so that it is, we're having conversation early this week about what generosity, second Fridays, we focus on generosity, giving of ourselves and our resources to help others. And this Friday, I want to turn it around a little bit because, if you've been on an airplane, you know that spiel that they always give. And they say, if you're on board with a small child or somebody who needs help, put your mask on first when there's a depressurization, because you can't help others if you're not already able to breathe. And so in the month of mental health awareness, we just thought it would be a nice topic to bring up and say, what can we do to be better? So we're here, we all solve problems, we find answers for people, we carry burdens to deliver, do good for our customers, our if we have employees, if we have friends, we want to be there for them. And that's the cost of doing it, a business, practice, a team. And in a room like this, one of the reasons we form Friday Conversations, right, Jonathan, is to come away for a moment and be able to connect with people without having a pitch. We're not here to sell. We're here to have a deeper moment. And part of that, though, is to be showing up with our best selves. And so I found a site from Mental Health America, and in their 2026 campaign, their theme was more good days together. And I thought that is actually an important message that we can start with today. What does more good days look like? And kind of juice the pot a little bit. I've alluded to it in the past, but my background is that, I have been diagnosed as depressed or depressive, in that I had childhood events that languished without treatment and things. So by the time I got to college, I went through waves. In fact, one of my jokes was, once one quarter, my grades were C, A, C, A. And my joke to my mom was, good thing I don't know how to spell cat. And it was not because I wasn't intelligent or smart it's that just I would hit this wall. And suddenly I could smile, I could have conversations, I could do all kinds of things that socially people would say, oh yeah, it's Rob. But inside, it was like all I was just slogging through. And I think it's important that we recognize for ourselves and others when those moments come up. So what I want to do here, I'm gonna give you some tips, and then we're gonna open up some questions here. But I do want to point out that the theme that Mental Health America came up with was, what does a good day look like for you? And the thing they didn't say was, you have to be upbeat, you have to be laughing, you have to do these things, because each of us is different. And so a good day doesn't mean these things, but it does mean something's calm, you feel manageable, you feel empowered, that this is something I can do. And for people like all of us, we measure, ourselves in having good days, not in what we produce that day, or at least we should. So I'm going to kind of give you a conclusion of what Mental Health America suggested is a focus for mental health, and then we'll start throwing it out there and see what we're going. So 4 ideas. 1, good days are on our own terms. It doesn't have to look like somebody else's, good day. Some is, did I have a conversation with somebody? Sometimes it's, did I get out of the house to enjoy the outdoors, go socialize, do something? So those are some of the things I measure. Item 2, your mind and your body are not separate from this. And one of the things I have learned is that one of the fastest ways to better health and mental health is to actually focus on physical activity. Because I can sit there and stew, sitting in my chair thinking, oh, there's all these things I need to do, I should be doing. But if I actually get out of the house and go for a walk, for a moment, I can set that aside and it's not gnawing away at me. 3, there is no right path. There's no single answer for everyone out there. We all have to learn to find that answer for ourselves. But most importantly, we need to be able to bounce that idea off of people. Say, this is what it looks for me, what does this make sense? Or, get that affirmation from people that, yeah, we're glad you're here, kind of thing. And for the connection is that protection. So the more you reach out to people, and conversely, the more people that we know, if we haven't heard from somebody, they've been unusually quiet, just ping them and say, hey, I just thought of you. I was actually thinking of something, Todd, you do when you keep your pictures a moments and just spontaneously, he's told this in another Friday conversation, he'll just send the picture out and say, hey, thinking of you. But that moment reminds people that it matters to be there, because I can tell you from personal experience that there were moments I was in my dorm room laying on the bed, I roomed alone, thinking, it would be the easiest thing is just not to wake up. But there was always that voice inside my head at the end that said, today was really crappy, but tomorrow's got to be better. And eventually it was right. And that's what, to me, the message of mental health is all about. So 4 things that we can pick up on, we can zero in on. I'm going to throw out the softball, and then we'll just kind of see where we go with this. So, what does a good day look like for you right now? And try to answer it without using a single business metric.
I wrote down a couple.
Okay.
And it's all based on the things I think light me up on a day that I'm feeling pretty good. I have more energy. I feel connected to source. There has to be humor, and there has to be love. If I have those going for me, then if I didn't get it all done today, there's tomorrow. But this makes it feel good.
Yeah.
And I love this question. Like, I saw that question on your notes and I was like, this is such a, like, first of all, just what does a good day look like? I struggle to answer that. Like, I'm still not sure that I have a good answer for it. I know what it is. I can feel a good day. And there's more there. But what I love is not with no business metrics, right? Because a lot of times our minds go to like, oh, I landed a new client, I closed on this. So like, there's definitely, those are good things because it means money coming in, right? So like, there's that aspect of it. But man, like how do you define a good day? I don't have an answer. I'm just starting to thought of it. So.
Well, and here's what I react to that is, I think the reason why we exempt the business metrics is because when we hit those metrics, they come with their own endorphin rush. When we land a new client, this is exciting. Ooh, and you're just going, hey, I'm having I'm enjoying this. And that's why even the work I'm doing right now, I mean, I can honestly, say that I am more engaged and lively to this, but I have to protect myself because right now it's intellectual work. It's nothing I can show. It's nothing I can just bring somebody in and say, isn't this so cool? Because it's something I've been working on for so long. But every day I am still making a point of saying, okay, I need to make sure I make contact with somebody, let them, text them, call them, do something so people know I'm around. Because if it wasn't for that, I would just isolate in my chair in front of my computer, just diving deep into my happy place. But I'm alone, and that's why I need love, connection, humor, and things like that. Even messages from my coach telling me, hey, what have you done this week? What's working for you? Because at least it's a mental reminder somebody does care about, even if I don't sit and respond, it's like, okay, he still cares.
Yeah.
So any other things on this?
Yeah, I started thinking about, and because I'm an actor, I started thinking about the play Our Town and how, at the end of the play, our girl who has passed away and is looking back at one day, one simple day, she gets to go back. I'm gonna cry. And what she realizes is that why don't we, when we're alive, really appreciate all these tiny little things along the way? And I think that a really good day for me is when I am truly present in the now. When I am truly experiencing, not thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow or in the future or an event that's coming up, not reminiscing about anything, in the past, but truly specifically with myself, with what comes through for me, with people, with holding space for them. That feels like time slows down. When you go on vacation, and vacations sometimes seem longer because you are present. And I think that that's a key thing for me. Because I'm a part of Dave's day, and I think I'm a big part of the love part of his day. That's also something that I had written down, but I'm going to add to it because one of the things that sets up my day the best is when Dave and I have that first cup of coffee in the morning and we come together in conversation. It could be about anything, but we are so present with each other and have the best conversations, truly acknowledging each other and appreciating each other. And there's humor in it. One of the most fun things is when either one of us or both of us at the same time discover something that we didn't know before because we showed up together.
Wow.
It's amazing, and it sets your day off, and it's fantastic. Just that is everything to me. And I could go on about a whole bunch of other things that would mean a lot to me for a day, but if I'm present and in that now moment, it's everything.
You brought it up, so I have to record it here.
Yes.
So this is the voice of Emily.
Yes, thank you.
In Our Town. She is ending her day that she's been given to return from the dead and live a life. And she is saying, goodbye, goodbye world, goodbye Grover's Corner, Mama and Papa, goodbye to clocks ticking, and Mama's sunflowers, and food, and coffee, and new iron dresses, and hot baths, and sleeping and waking up. Oh, Earth, you're too wonderful for anyone to realize you. Then she turns to the stage manager and asks, do any human beings ever realize life while they live it? Every minute? No. The saints and poets, maybe. They do some.
Yes,
That was good.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I
So-
love, yeah, good.
To your point about being in the moment, living for the moment, for me, I demand of myself that every day I wake up, I'm appreciative. I'm acknowledging the fact that I'm alive. That's a big deal. As you age, you'll become more aware, okay? But you have a choice. Every day you have a choice. What's that day gonna look like? What's that day going to create in your life? Increasing your happiness, increasing your reach to people. And I'll say that Fridays, when I wake up, you prioritize your day, typically, especially when you're in business. However, for my Fridays, my day is surrounding or is built on today. This is coming here, sharing energy, sharing thought, sharing in the moment. So we as human beings have a choice every day when we wake up. Is it going to be a good day? Not so good day, challenging day? And I elect to have it as a good day. I'm done.
Kudos, wow. That's something we talked about last week, just like delivering and then being done. Nicely done.
I think for me, something that I've come into and still working on is being present in the moment, but more being present in my own body. And different ways that I do that is the first thing I do when I wake up is I start my day with gratitude. And I go through each of the members of my family, our house, our property, our shop, just things like that. And adding on to that, like different things. And that has really shifted my outlook on life a lot. I am someone that throughout my entire life have been the clinical depressed tag attached to me. I'm gonna say tag. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like a tag that's just kind of like stuck there. And have worked through a lot of things throughout my life that have been very, very difficult. And also taking moments where I love laying in the sun, but I'm very in my body at that moment, or watching a moment with my kids throughout the day and having that inner smile and being really in my body, being present in my body during those moments. And it can be quite emotional to turn inwards. But for me, it has been very important in my journey.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I have a little bit, maybe
Yeah.
a different perspective on what's a good day. The good days for me is when I wake up and I realize it's not about me. And so, I'm a Christian, so I believe that there's a universal God who has made us in his image and loves us. So when I wake up in the morning, first thing, a good day for me is when I recognize it's not about me. And that immediately releases me from responsible things that I have no control. And from that, then it's interesting, the questions you read about mental health, like feeling comfortable with who you are and what's my identity, what is this community I'm involved with. And so those two things, when I wake up with that perspective, for me, it's not about how I feel the day, because I can have an absolute horrible day, still be full of gratitude, start my day saying, Lord, thank you for my wife and my kids and all the just the simple things that my body works. As you get older, like you say, you're like, I'm on the other side rolling down that hill now. But for me, that's a good day, is when I just see who I am within this whole vast thing, and that centers me, that faith. And so then as I go through the day, it's not so much how I feel, because I can feel all kinds of things throughout a day. There's all kinds of interactions I'm going to have no control over. I can decide how I respond or choose to respond. But the truth is, in this whole big thing, and 50 times around the nearest star that I've traveled, there's a lot of uncertainty. And when I get grounded there, the rest of my day just really is centered. Doesn't mean I'm going to have a great feeling day. I may have a crappy day, but I know my place in the universe. I understand how to relate to other humans, to other creatures. So that's how I think about a good day. It's not really define how I feel. Although, I mean, obviously I'm going to feel things. So let's take a grounded perspective.
And I agree with that. That's kind of where my mind was going. As far as bringing it to a lowest common denominator for me, it would be bringing value to others and having value, or understanding the value of the things that are, that are important to me, that are positive in my life. And to shut off all the noise around you, because again, just like you said, it's out of your control. And we should be focusing on each other. So
yeah, I'm just convinced, man, in my own life, that my first call is to love the people right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think we get stuck in this abstract world, left, right, red, blue, Iran, the US, whatever. We can put all kinds of terms and labels and have opinions about it. But if you're not like able to connect like this, I don't know what we're doing.
mhm.
That's
Yeah.
our whole reason for being here on Fridays.
Yeah.
To show up for each other, to hold space for each other,
Yes.
and to acknowledge that I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you. This is awesome. More people should show up.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, one of the biggest things, and I've been finding this more recently than anything, but to have a good day for me, I need to experience a challenge, and whether or not I overcome that challenge that day, as long as I can eventually accomplish that challenge, one of the biggest things is to have a good day, and then learning a lesson as well, not just experiencing a lesson, but learning the lesson. And he has helped tremendously throughout my entire life, teaching me lessons.
So that light bulb might not flicker on or off right away.
But
That's awesome.
Oh, I was gonna say, I like that the topic is more good days together, because I think that
Yeah.
together bit is my key to a good day. I think the common denominator for me is just being able to laugh with other people. I tend to tell a lot of stupid jokes. Sometimes I make a lot of jokes about s'mores.
It was, I liked it.
Oh, it was, you should have tasted it. But it is just like being able to banter and laugh with other people, I think, is kind of my common denominator. And one of my greatest challenges, honestly, as a bachelor, solopreneur, digital worker, there's not a whole lot of other face-to-face interactions. That's the whole point. I come to the Friday conversations. That's why I go to networking events. It's really more opportunities to be shoulder to shoulder. I could definitely probably crack some more dumb jokes at those networking things. Watch out, Alignable.
Yeah, I call it belly to belly, but that's, yeah.
Well, that one's got a little bit of closeness that sometimes you just want to make sure they brush their teeth first.
I was gonna take us a slightly different direction, or did you have?
yeah, no, go ahead. I just realized that
Oh,
we lost our screen. I'm
Oh.
not sure why.
okay. We still got the recording.
We're still good there.
We're
Yeah.
Still good
yeah.
there. Okay. So, yeah, so I thought I'd kind of move on and actually, Stephen, I'm gonna call on you for this one, because one of the other big themes that they brought out was the mind-body connection
Yeah.
here. And so I know from personal experience, you have a lot of focus on that and how mind and body influence each other and things. So you want to
Yeah.
have something to start us off there?
Well, I'm not the oldest guy in the room. I'm only 37, so I don't know everything yet. But in my 37 years, I've still never seen someone think themselves out of a funk. I've never seen someone unfunk because of a thunk. There's back to the dumb jokes. But I have seen a lot of times when you move your body, you move your emotions, right? Tony Robbins has that little quirky statement like emotions are in motion or whatever. I've got something that I call the Charlie Brown exercise that I do with clients sometimes when they're lacking motivation or when they're somehow in a funk. And essentially it comes from some like 1960 peanut strip where Charlie Brown's slumped over, hunched over, and he's talking. He's like, this is my depressed state. I'm feeling depressed today. When you're depressed, you really want to lean in. The worst thing you could do is stand up tall because you might start to feel good, and you don't want that on a depressed day. And so I'll do this exercise with clients. Yeah. I'll see if I can put in the Facebook comments. I don't think you can make an image on lives. Anyway, but it's a great comic strip, easy to find. But what I'll do with clients is we'll kind of talk about, we'll create these archetypes of who we want to be, right? Or us in our worst state, and then us in our best state, whatever they are, whether it's emotion or whether it's motivated, whether it's depressed. And we'll kind of give them nicknames. Like let's say one of mine is like Smiley Steve, right? Or Sluggish Steve, right? And with all of these characters, if you were a director for a TV show, right? And you had to portray to the audience the emotion that person had, how would you direct that actor? I should be giving this over to Gay. How would you direct that actor to convey that emotion, right? What speed do they move with? What tone what pitch is their voice? Are their eyes awake? Are they kind of sluggish? Like, and we'll embody kind of that negative state. And I'll have them walk around, pace around the room that they're in and kind of describe the room using the tone. And then we'll ask them how they're feeling and then go on the opposite state, right? Whatever it is, if it's Smiley Steve, walk around the room a little bit faster, have the shoulders back, chest up, chin up, whatever it is. And you can even hear like the change in the tone of voice, and you'll have them describe things in the room. And they usually start to describe things usually a little bit more positively as well. And then you can find by changing your posture, you can change your emotions in a really, really rapid way. Just pacing in a different physical state. It's like 45 seconds and you can be a different person. I know with myself, I noticed like, especially life really changes at 136 beats per minute on your heart rate. You get, and there's biochemistry to that too, right? You release BDNF, you release AMP, you release oxytocin, serotonin, all that stuff. What Kelly McGonigal refers to as the hope molecules. But it is probably impossible to think yourself out of a bad state, but you can move yourself into a different state really, really rapidly. And I'm not the only health coach in the room. I know Melissa, you coach people, you do a lot of fitness yourself. What's your experience with like moving the body and moving the mind in the same course?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with everything you're talking about. And it was really interesting when you talked about the slumping over, sitting up, because I literally yesterday was on a Zoom with a group of ladies and we did that exact practice. And we had our eyes downcast and, really like thought about some negative things and sorrowful things. And then we sat up and thought about positive things. We lifted our gaze, and it was actually really powerful, emotional, and transformative, because I remember times in my life where I've literally done that thing. And then now I feel like I don't know, maybe you guys have noticed, but I've noticed I sit up, with my shoulders high, and I stand tall, and I'm a taller lady. And so there's other people in my life that are much shorter, and I used to. But I used to actually try to make myself smaller. And my best friend is 4'11". known her since I was 10 years old. We're like, we're glued together for life. And she is my best friend. And I remember times when I used to try to make myself small. But with that, the motion of moving my body, having my clients move their body is the mind body is so connected. It's so integrated and it's so powerful. And we talk about rewiring your brain, right? And you're basically rewiring your body too. And there have been days for me personally where I'm like, I'm not feeling great. I don't want to do the thing. And I put my workout clothes and I go to my shop and I do my workout. Immediately, I feel better. I feel like I look better. I can go through the day with confidence. And the emotion is stronger and more tied to my body than I give myself credit for. And I definitely talk to my clients about that same thing, that mind body is so important. And I've had clients, they're like, this happened and this happened. I'm like, get outside. It's a beautiful day. Go for a walk. Call me in 20 minutes. And it's totally different now. Their countenance is different. The way they speak to me, the way they speak to me, their cadence is so much lighter. It's so much different. And then we can have a conversation. But yeah, it's very tied together. I agree.
I'm sorry, Rob.
I just have to throw it in there because I know you understand this reference too. You cannot attend a Tony Robbins event and not experience that.
Yeah.
Because Tony Robbins, the first thing, you can't learn if you're not in a peak state. And peak state is all about moving the body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I really love about the mind body connection too is it gives you a lot more control. Sometimes when we're in a funk, people lose that sense of control, and I'm sure everyone listening to this has had those moments where like change your thoughts. Try to change your thoughts. It's brutally hard to change your thoughts. However, changing your postures, you can do that on a dime, instantaneous, right? Leonidas, raise your right hand. Yeah, that took no effort, right? You can change your body in a moment all the time. It's very, very hard to change your thoughts. Your thoughts will change your body, right? If we start to get sad and depressed, the body shrinks. And if we get happy, like we're upbeat, right? Very hard to change your thoughts. That pathway works in reverse too. You can change your body and it changes your thoughts. Very hard to think a new thought, but it's easy to change your posture.
I remind myself, because I teach this to newer people in the business, speak with a smile. Just that simple motion in your facial muscles will change your attitude, and it will be perceived as well as felt when you're speaking with people.
That's funny. Everybody was giving me a hard time before we started because the slideshow had a picture of me that was very fierce. I wasn't smiling in that picture. It definitely conveys a different emotion.
Yeah.
Smiling is good.
Yeah. You don't necessarily need to like the person, but you just put on a smile. It'll change the course of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And you have a choice.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a
Mhm.
choice, and the choice should be not only to promote yourself,
Mhm.
but you're talking with another human being.
Yeah.
And whether or not you realize it, you're promoting them.
Yeah.
That's an important part of the feel good process of energy exchange, which we do here on Friday. I leave here going. Sorry.
I love how much you love this. Like your endorsement of this is great. An interesting thought that occurred to me there is we're talking about smiling. And if I don't have good feelings toward the person I'm talking to, and I'll pick like Steven's not smiling at me right now. So let's say that I get this sense that he's upset at me or he just did something that I find absolutely unacceptable. And so I'm like, and I'm going to use the word disgust, and I'm picking on Steven because I feel like he's the safest target. And so if I am disgusted at Steve, but I know that I need to be smiling, he's gonna feel the fakeness in that smile, because it's gonna be like.
I don't know, it could be a little disarming too,
It can
if you
be,
do it right.
it can be. So, but the mindset shift is like, if I say, well, wait a second, why am I, kind of unpack it and then change my mind towards Steve and be like, wait a second, this is another human being, right? Maybe he did just cut me off in traffic. Maybe he did steal my spot in line at Costco, whatever it is. Like I was in a space of frustration toward another human being. If I can rewire that, and you got to do it pretty quickly, but like, wait a second, no, I'm talking to a human being that is having a human experience just like me. And then now that smile becomes genuine, because it's like, oh, it's Pete Holmes does this great bit on when he gets on an airline, the pilot is pilot Pete Holmes and the flight attendant is flight attendant Pete Holmes. And so if everybody around is a variation of John Biron, right? It's the Dave Ribble John Biron. It's like, oh, the guy that's been there, done that, and really knows a lot about everything. So if you start to interact with like, oh, that person that cut me off is late to work, John Biron. It's like, oh yeah, like I can much more easily extend grace towards that person, and by extension myself. I discovered recently that judgment, and it's interesting because you mentioned Christianity in the Bible. Judge not lest you also be judged. And when I look at, I'm gonna pick on Lauren now. When I look at Lauren, I'm like, I cannot believe whatever it is. Now that's a standard that I hold over myself. And every time, so let's say Lauren's late to a meeting, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, people that are late are the worst. Well, now whenever I'm running late, I'm judging myself with all of that judgment that I poured out for years and years and years. So
As you should. People that are late are the worst.
So I want to pick up on something that's been coming out of this, because it's another point that Mental Health America made, and that is about externalizing, the things. Because as Stephen said, you can't stop yourself thinking. You're going to have those thoughts. But one of the things is about making them objective, because if they're silent inside your brain, it's subjective. It's all about me. And we started out saying it's not about us. It's about where we are. And so one of the things that they brought up was the tools that you can use for yourself. And one of them was a big one for me, and that's journaling. Mm-hmm. Being able to physically, again, notice the physical act of having to take what's going on up here and putting it down just exactly the way it's in your head, externalizes it and gives you a different perspective. So I'll throw this out as a tools question. What else? Journaling, what else can we be doing that takes what's going on the inside and makes it something we can look at from a different point of view?
I love the exercise. I know there were like 5 people excited to share here. I love the exercise of, like you were saying, making things objective. I love the exercise of, like, we all have that, like, that stinking thinking, like that voice in our head. I like to name that voice. And I've done this with a couple of clients. There's been a range, right? You can, but like having create a character for that voice to have, whether I'm trying to not get the Facebook Live dinged. One of my clients called that voice that B word. Some people like, dude, that's my Satan, or like, that's just the stinker, right? Or whatever it is. But whenever you hear some internal dialogue cutting you down, like, oh, nah, that's just the stinker doing his business. I don't need to listen to the stinker. Or like, I obviously had a weird voice on that. I like to make mine like a Southern lady. And I just refer, you ain't gonna tempt me today, Satan. Go away. I don't need that voice. Right? It's just what.
But we are learning so much about each other today.
But it is.
Did you see the head roll?
But it is a great way to kind of dissociate, because when we're saying those things about ourselves, it has to be true, because we wouldn't lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
But if you do have a name for that voice, it's easier to choose whether you want to listen to someone else's opinion. Sometimes you do want to listen to other people's opinions, but sometimes you're like, dude, that's just that's the stinker. The stinker is just full of crap, always angry. I don't need the stinker today. Right.
One of the things that I find is that it's important to recognize what it is that you're thinking, because many times you speak one thing, you do your affirmations, you're speaking positives over, but you're thinking the exact opposite. And guess which one is more powerful? And so to know what it is that you're thinking, I think is important. And then Dave and I love to reframe. So there are many times, and we've given each other permission to do this, but there are many times when maybe I'm frustrated or something, and I'll say something that's pretty negative, and he'll say, reframe. and
After he gets slapped.
if I can know, he has.
I'm running out of the house at the time.
So the thing that's interesting is if I can reframe, because sometimes it's like, how the hell do you reframe this? But many times I will say to him, thank you. I'm still processing, and at the end of the processing, I can reframe.
And then followed by now go away.
Now go away. But I found that getting into the habit of doing it, you start recognizing what it is you're thinking, and you do enough reframing, you start thinking with that reframing. So you can change the voice that's there because you are now in control. Yeah.
You have the choice.
Yes.
You have the choice.
Yeah.
Thinking about the idea of journaling external or from internal to external, I think this is where the community comes in for me, because it's easy to get stuck in your own head, right? We'll do that. Journaling is a good way to get what's here down, like, oh, yep, there it is. I can identify it. It's a thing, right? I can put that away. So I used to do a lot of meditation, sort of Buddhist style. Got a list, put these ideas away until you keep doing that, and you can develop to where like, I'm really not thinking much, right? But I think for me now, like really, and for all of us, we live in a world where it's all about me. That's what we're being told all the time. We have a device that tells us everything about me, that I can curate what everybody else is going to see, right? And actually having authentic community where you can see somebody do something you don't like, give lovely feedback in a way that's for them. I think that sort of community piece is what really helps us get out of our own head. And so let's say, I just think there's a tension right now in our culture because we're just told over and over again, look inside, look inside, look inside, look inside, the answers. And I mean, candidly, when I look inside, I'm like, wow, I'm a 50-year-old white guy from Montana who really can't control anything. I mean, I'm just being honest. I don't know if I'm going to get hit by a car or whatever. So having someone outside give me grounding and community, I think is huge. And I just think our culture does not, I say this over and over again, week after week, we don't do well that. That's why I love Friday conversations, because this is real.
Yeah.
I love that you said community and or bringing it into the community, because that's really important. Just give me a minute. So, so one of the things that I have done in my own life is I've literally spoken negative things about myself out loud. And John has said to me, stop being so mean to my wife.
Ooh.
And the first time he said it, it really stopped me. I was really mad.
There's the slap.
I walked out of the room because that's my thing. I walk out of the room because I need a minute.
Yeah.
And things have been spoken over me throughout my entire life. So they're ingrained, they're wired in there, right? And a lot of those things are actually about the way I look. And so most of my clients are women. So over time, I've been really challenging my clients with a certain thing because I've done it myself and it's really worked. So I stand in front of a full-length mirror. We have one in our house. And I look at myself and I really look at myself. Then I start speaking things over myself and my body. I have birthed 3 children the way that I wanted to, all naturally,
Yeah, come on.
at a birthing center. That is not easy, but it's a hard thing that I did, and my body did that.
Yeah.
These arms and hands have held sorrow, pain, love. I'm a hugger. If you know me, I'm a hugger. And I hold space for people. These legs, they go up and down stairs and they're strong. And I just start going through my body because negative things have been spoken over my body. And it's my way of rewiring my brain and my body the way that I think. And that has really worked for me. But to bring it back to community, I've been doing that with my clients and bringing them into a safe space of community that has been really empowering for them and honestly for me, because I'm giving it back, right? So that has been very helpful for me.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's a beautiful reframing tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
love
think
it.
especially women struggle with that in our culture,
Oh,
body
massive.
shame.
It's-
I mean,
It's massive. People that I never thought
Hmm.
would have had shame about their body because of the way that I perceive them and the way that they look to me. I'm like blown away by the things that come out of their mouth.
Hmm.
It is shocking.
So we're getting really close to the end, and I want to transition. We're going to kind of wrap things up, but I want to try something new. We don't have a guest picked out for next week, and we don't have a topic. And I like that these conversations, like it feels like we could keep going. And we've even had some people say, should we go a little bit longer so that we can keep the conversation going? I like keeping it short, and we won't get into all that. But I'm curious, like with what we've talked about, next week is youth and next generation. That idea, that's the theme, and we're going to be out at the portal at Liberty Lake. Any thoughts on how we can take where we're leaving off here and keep this conversation going this week leading up to next week?
well, there's definitely a mental health crisis with the young people. So I
Absolutely.
mean, that's a total easy time.
It's also Mental Health Month, so I
Yeah,
think we'd keep it in that.
And I think one of the things we could pick up on is what Melissa kind of ended us with, which is
That's so true.
generations pass their trauma
Yeah.
on. I mean, my trauma was generational, both within and outside of my family. I mean, we had a very closely knit trauma that carried on to me.
Right.
Now, my generation has kind of ended that trauma mostly because we didn't have children.
Mm.
We just, it kind of ends.
Hmm.
But we still have these traumas, so that's another area we could look at.
I like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll kind of let that percolate and even maybe try to create a post that as you have thoughts and ideas, we can kind of get the conversation going in the lead up to it. Maybe do a little bit of studying and research and even thinking through our own stories, sharing those, and then we'll come to the table with a little bit of a energy that's been built and built upon. So I do want to take a minute to thank Rob Reuter, Critic Designs, for lunch today and for bringing us this topic. That was spot on and well done. And Innovia, we're at the Innovia building, well, the Innovia space in downtown. They're getting a new, actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. They're getting a new something.
Are they getting a puppy?
They're getting a new something, Stephen. I'm not allowed to, I'm sure it's okay to say, but I don't want to jump any kind of jump off the line too quickly.
It's a puppy.
Zane edited that.
But yeah, Zane will edit that out. But thank you to everybody that's here in the room. Really appreciate everybody that just contributes to this conversation. And several people have expressed, and I fully agree, a good day for me is always a Friday because of what we do here. And so thank you, everybody. Rob, thank you. And we're close enough to 2 o'clock. I think we'll call it.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.